So what is it about this that why is it 218 pages? What does that tell you about it?
The main thing it tells you about it is that this is a statute that is trying to regulate the unregulatable and the undefinable. Standards of parliamentary drafting have gone down over the last 100 years in a big way. And this is a very complicated bill because it's trying to do the impossible, and it just uses more words to do that. But let me make it clear for a start that the bill is actually a well-intentioned bill. And it aims at some targets which need to be hit at. The main targets of this bill are illegal content on the internet and pornography. So illegal material has got to be taken down. Pornography has got to be subject to age verification. I don't have any problem about that, and I don't think anyone else should have any problem. The really big problem is the one that you've identified, which is the so-called legal and harmful bit. This is an attempt to control and to require internet service companies to control material that it's perfectly legal to talk about, perfectly legal to give speeches about, but which you, if this bill is passed, can't talk about on the internet without a number of government controls being imposed. I think there are two big things wrong with that. First of all, we should not be imposing criminal liabilities on internet companies for things that we can't define even in a statute which is several hundred pages long. The second problem about it is that it confers the kind of powers on government ministers which they should not have. It basically requires Ofcom, the telecommunications regulator, to supervise this very complicated process. And the vagueness of the statute is going to be given precision by so-called guidance coming from Ofcom. And the guidance depends in part on what government ministers want. They have to submit it to government ministers who can change it. We know some of the things that government ministers will want to introduce. They call it misinformation and disinformation. Now, what is harmful and what is misinformation and disinformation? We had an example of this in the pandemic. There was a great deal of controversy about the lockdown, some controversy about vaccines, and basically anything which is contrary to government policy is capable of being labelled as misinformation and disinformation. Personally, I do not think that the government should have power to identify the kind of things which people are allowed to speak about on the internet. They don't have that power when people are delivering speeches in public. They don't have that power when people are writing articles in newspapers. Why should they have it when they are speaking on the internet?